He's got a full-time job, a full-time career. This is the only one that's in business. What's your excuse? What's stopping you from getting the mojo like Gideon? What's stopping you from having the vision and the fortitude to go the extra mile like Julia? What's stopping you? What's holding you back? What's your big excuse that's so big that you could not make exceptions? 2 years ago, some of you have heard this story, it's on a CD. I walked into a restaurant after an all-day training with one of my closest friends, Dave Pitcock. We trained all day, kind of like this, but he and I were doing most of the whole thing, so it was actually a weekend event. And it was the second day after the weekend event. We were tired, we were hungry. Juliet, my wife, Dave, and myself and my oldest son, Blake, we went and got dinner at a Cracker Barrel, which was kind of down the street. It was the only thing open at that time of night, and we were hungry. And it was just kind of like one of those, we can finally just let down a little bit. And we went into the restaurant, we sat down, but there was something unique that happened. We got engaged, to use the word that Nephi used a little while ago, we got engaged in a conversation with the manager of the store. And he saw the ring on my hand, and he asked me about the ring. And here was very close to my answer to him. I said, "Can I ask you a question?" He said, "Of course." And instead of making this about my ring, it was just a conversation starter. It could have been anything. You're dressed nice, white, and he actually did make a comment on that because we were in suits and ties. He said, "You look nice, you look sharp, what's going on?" And instead of making it about us, stop that conversation, because remember, as leaders, you need to be more interested in listening before you speak. So remember how to think about someone's name. If you're in the moment making it about them, it's not hard to remember somebody's name unless you're worried about what you're going to say. Then you turn that off for some reason and you forget. You know the moment. It's happened to me. You're talking with someone, they just told you their name, and then all of a sudden you forgot what it is and you're totally embarrassed and you're never able to use their name again in a sentence or even to tell them bye by their name. It's horrible. It's horrible. So I said, "Can I ask you a question?" He says, "Sure." And I said, "You're a great guy. Obviously, you've got a lot of responsibilities here, and this place probably thinks the world of you. Are you happy doing what you're doing, or are you open for something? Are you looking for something?" And his answer was something like, "I'd have to be really silly to say that I wasn't open or looking for something." And I said, "Do you see that guy over there?" And I pointed to Dave Pitcock. He said, "Yes. If you knew what I knew about him, you'd want to spend some time with him. You want to get to know that man." For the last 2 days, I've been training with him. He is so amazing. The things that he teaches and inspires and puts into people, it's overwhelming how amazing it is to know him. You really want to get to know him. I'd love to do this. I can see you're busy. You've got responsibilities tonight. People are dependent on you, and we could get into a long conversation. Would you be willing to meet me? Could I get an hour of your time with a completely open mind to share some thoughts and run some ideas past you about my question or the nature of my question? You said you're looking for something. Yeah. We met on Monday morning. Monday morning we got together. Here's what I did not know. You see, I might be a little bit unconventional compared to how other people do the business, but I really believe this. I really believe that God will manifest into your life and into your path that which you pray for. If it's really here and it's really on your heart, God knows that it's on your heart to meet people that you really deserve or desire, not deserve. You desire to serve them, to love on them, to give them hope, to give them help, and lift them up and give them more out of life than they could have had out of life had it not been for you coming into their life. I believe God will put people in your path. I pray for that every day. It's easy to make a list, but if you pray to make an inspired list, sometimes people show up on your list that you didn't expect to end up on your list. And sometimes you just run into people that you weren't expecting to run into, and those are exactly the people that you should be in life and in business with. And here comes this relationship. I can see it cultivating, and I'm thinking, aha. I believe God put that person right smack dab in my path. and gave me the confidence and the conviction and the belief to come across the right way because I put in the practice, I put in the hard work to communicate and to extract. And I had just enough information from that person. It was all I needed to warrant the appointment. Here's what your goal is every single time. It's just to get the appointment. That's it. Just get the appointment. Don't worry about what to say. Don't worry about what the appointment's going to look like. Just be in the moment, enjoy getting to know the person, and just get the appointment. That's the whole concept of moving those marbles that I was talking to you about earlier. Every time you get an appointment, you get to move a marble. And it's a visual. You get to look at that and you're going, okay, I know this jar is empty, but my job is to fill that jar. The only way I can do it is on the honor system, is to listen with my ears, open my mouth with the right invite, set the appointment, go home and move my marble. It's a beautiful little visual. And you can have a lot of fun with that. So I got the appointment. But remember that prayer I was telling you about that I make? I didn't know until I met with him on Monday. He goes, it's just the weirdest thing. I woke up on Friday or Saturday, I forget which day of the week it was now, when the appointment or our event was, but he woke up on a Friday morning early, got a call from the overall regional manager that the person at that Cracker Barrel had quit and walked out that day, and they said, you're the best guy we've got to go in there and take care of this situation until we can put something permanent together. Would you be willing to head north and take over the shift for this particular location? He said, absolutely, I'd be happy to go. He goes, it was the craziest thing because it was 2 hours to the north. He drove 2 hours to the north, and he had just been praying himself, thinking, God, you know, I've been in the restaurant industry for 26 years. I'm so unfulfilled. I don't feel like I'm reaching my potential. Would you just give me a sign, open the doors, and let me just feel inspired today? He walks in there, goes and does his job, and in the 9th hour of his work shift, when he's thinking about heading home, that's when we collided. Now, I didn't know this story until I'm getting to know him in my interview with him on Monday, but it's revealed to me then. He goes, it now makes sense. I prayed about this. You prayed about that. We both collided here, but I didn't want you to feel bad for me because when I came back here, I didn't want to tell you this, but I had to drive home that night 2 hours south, sleep in my bed, and then drive all the way back here just to meet with you. That was a lot of driving. Now, why would someone do that? Remember the principles of a great invite? What are they?
Value.
Thank you. Value? Did I show him value?
Yes.
Why do you think he drove back to meet me? Right? The value was there. Number 2, curiosity. Why did he have curiosity? The reason he had curiosity is because he didn't know why he was coming back to meet me on that Monday morning. But how many times do you think that the more information you give someone, the more likely it is for you to get the appointment? BTT this, dead doctors don't lie that, my miraculous healing, I was blind and now I see. Those are great things to share, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, except the more information you give out to get the appointment, the more likely it is that you'll be demanded to explain yourself if you start giving details prematurely. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Are you sure that makes sense?
Yes.
Am I offending anybody with these philosophies I'm sharing? Is this settling okay?
Yes.
Good. Because what I don't want you to hear is that you shouldn't talk about your miraculous hearing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to not talk about the things that you're passionate about or that you love. I'm asking you to have a PhD in social skills and understand that there's a time and a moment and a place and an order for which you share things. Does this make sense? Okay, so you need to keep this in check. And I was all about sharing my story, and I did. I've had an incredible experience with the products, and some of you have, and some of you have not heard my story. I don't feel that right now is the time for me to share my story with you because of the time we have allotted left today. It would take me a little while. but it's powerful. And I know it's like I'm Nephi Wayman. I've got my tool bag to go out and deal with the crap in life, metaphorically speaking. I've got my tool bag, and in my tool bag is my story. And I'm going to leave all the tools in my tool bag unless or until it's mandatory that I pull out the right tool for the circumstance. Here's the question. Was he willing to meet with me?
Yes.
He was. Because I had value and I created a curiosity, did I create a sense of urgency?
Yes.
Okay? Now I didn't tell you kind of the rest of the situation, but I edified Dave Pitcock. And it was kind of like, if you knew what I knew and you could get a little glimpse into what we've been talking about, I don't know if what I do is for you or not. But if you're willing to explore a couple of things with me, the only time I have available is Monday morning. And beyond that, I don't think I could possibly get together with you for some time into the foreseeable future.
Yes, urgent.
That's a sense of urgency, and it's a fear of loss at the same time. In other words, he's got to be thinking, if I don't drive 2 hours home to drive 2 hours back to go 2 hours back home after I meet with him, I might lose the most amazing opportunity of my entire life. I didn't have to bait him with any more details of the company than exactly what I told you. That was it. I'll leave the details of everything else that he needs to know until the time of the appointment. At the time of the appointment, I simply do two things. I build the relationship first. And then, if I feel that that relationship warrants going farther, then I will get into what I call showing the plan. Got it? Do you see the flow of things? Now that can happen really quickly. A, curiosity, value, sense of urgency, fear of loss to set the appointment. B, have the appointment and make the relationship the priority. I knew his name, I knew his wife's name, I knew his kids' names, 3 of them. I knew their ages. I knew where they went to school. I knew the sports they specialized in. I knew his age. I knew it was his second marriage. I learned that he had never had kids with his wife, but his wife had kids with a former husband. Wow. I learned the desires of this man's heart. 26 years in the restaurant industry and wanted to get out, and now he's in his 40s. That's a lot of good information. Do you think I had enough yet to serve him? See, I did what Blake talked about. I want to partner with you. Let's do this together. I'll travel this journey with you, and if you'll lock arms with me, I will not quit on you. We'll do this together. And he believed me. If you go talk to him right this second, he will tell you, I can hardly believe it. We were 3 hours apart. One way to his house from my house was 167 miles one way. I made a commitment to him. Every week on a Thursday night, I got in my car and I drove 167 miles to his house to show the plan. And after I showed the plan, we registered people on the spot. He hit SEMD, bam, just like that. Why did he do it? Because I told him he could. Why did he do it? Because I demanded that would be the outcome in 30 days. Do you think he wanted me to drive 167 miles to waste my time? No way, no how, no chance. We talked on the phone in the middle of the week. I talked about who we had lined up, who he had invited. I taught him the invite. I trained him to be a PhD in social skills and to do to others what I did to him. First impressions become facts. A first impression, what you do to somebody to bring them into the business is locked and loaded what they think they have to do to bring the next person into the business. So if you create a complicated scenario and that's their experience, they think it's a complicated scenario to then go back out and bring other people into the business, and then you wonder, why is it taking, and you'll scratch your head until you're bald like me, why does it take forever to convert somebody over in the business and just make it quick, effortless, and painless? It's because we're complicating things. We're complicating things. Can you relate?
Yes.
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 For 3 months, I never broke a week. For 3 months of going down there, every week, 400 miles round trip, every single week. But you know what? We created an unbelievable pod in his community, and a lot of people saw success and rank advancement, and it's unbelievable what this man has created. He celebrated last September walking away from his manager position at Cracker Barrel forever. He's done. It took about a year for him to be able to do that. Not a bad plan, is it? That's not a bad plan at all. It's a great plan. So, have you learned a little bit today about self-confidence? Have you learned a little bit about belief? Have we talked enough about bravery and freedom? Did you hear enough speeches today and talks and experiences that showed you how you can really get through about any circumstances? Stop majoring in the minors. You want to write something down? Write that down. Stop majoring in the minors. Focus on the things that really matter. Keep this very, very super simple. Now, just to throw a little humor in here, quickly, and there's will be a point to this because I'm going to go through a little storyboard with you. I'm going to show in just a second a picture. This is a real picture of me. There's no Photoshop, but I have had long hair in my life. Okay, I've had very long hair in my life. As a matter of fact, just last week I decided to take the hair, skin, and nails product. How many of you ever heard of the hair, skin? I decided to find out if I could regrow my hair. And I was told, sure, it could come back dark if you just get the selenium into your diet. You know, your hair will turn darker and it'll get rich and turn long. It's amazing how our products work. And see it for yourself. Last week, folks, ladies and gentlemen, last week. Yep, I decided that was a little embarrassing, so I cut my hair back to what it is now. But, and some of you are like, is he serious right now? Here's the story behind this picture. This is a week ago. That part's true. It's not really my hair. That's not true. But here's what I can tell you. That person, Claudio, that I was talking about, that walked away from his restaurant job, the 167-mile trip, we're in the final few minutes, and I was wrapping things up, doing an in-home meeting at their house. We had a packed house, and their son, Diego, is 11 years old, just turned 11. He already knows which car his car bonus is going to afford. Did you check that out? He's building the business. He has an incredible team of people. He's already figuring out where his car bonus is going to go. He's recruiting football players from his high school where he's in middle school. He's bringing them into the scene, and he's building his team. He walks down the stairs with his mom's wig on. And I'm looking at him coming down the stairs, and I'm attempting to finish this out and not split a gut looking at him. But the meeting's over, and he comes up and he goes, I've got one for you too, and he hands me another hairpiece. And I'm like, where did these come from? Is this like a Halloween costume I asked him? And he goes, no, these are my mom's. And I go, your mom is not going to appreciate us sporting her wigs. And he goes, oh no, she'll love this. So I looked at her, she's laughing, and I'm like, should I put it on? And she goes, yeah, put it on. So that's a picture in their home, and that's the wig. Anyhow, we can go to the next picture. Go ahead to the next slide. So you got to have fun. Have fun in your journey of building the business. Don't be so serious that you're not making memories. You're not laughing with people. You're not enjoying the moment and setting the mood. When people can see that you can infuse humor into what you do, it goes a long ways. So this is my good friend Joe Tanner. Joe Tanner, on my right shoulder there, he is an astronaut. He's been to space 4 times. I've known Mr. Tanner. He's a great Google. If you want to Google somebody later, no, don't do it right now, go look into the life story of Joe Tanner. This is a man who got to answer the question, is there a God, and is there creation versus evolution? When you hear his story of conviction about his life and his journey and his experiences, you will never think the same way about this world or this planet again. He has seen things that you and I could not possibly ever see. And When he first wanted to go to space and become a NASA astronaut, he flew in Vietnam. He flew A-7s off of aircraft carriers, and he met a gentleman there named Gary Sumner. Gary Sumner was in the Navy along with Joe Tanner, and they became the best of friends, had amazing experiences together. And for the last 20 years of my life, Gary Sumner has been a very close friend of mine. We have flown in airplanes together. We have climbed 14,000-foot mountains many times. We've been on the trail and into the outdoors and the outback many, many, many times, have logged many nights sleeping in the outdoors together. But years ago, we started this process where he, being a Navy officer, he worked directly with NASA out of Houston, and every time there was a new space shuttle crew getting assembled, he would communicate with them. They'd fly in their T-38 airplanes, which are the trainer planes for the NASA astronauts. They'd fly into Colorado. We'd pick them up and take them up to high altitude to train them in teaming exercises. It was wonderful. And that's how I met Joe Tanner the very first time. I'm holding his Bible. His Bible has set a record for going the highest off of the surface of the earth into space. You can only take two things with you when you go to space that are personal. He chose that as one of them. So I'm holding his Bible. That Bible has been to 364 miles straight up off the Earth's surface, orbiting at 18,000 miles an hour. Pretty special moment. But I'll tell you, the reason I put this up here is because his story inspired me. It inspired me because in the history of the world, so far as we know and have documented, there's only about 300 people that have ever been to space. If you've ever thought about what they're doing up there, one of the things that they've done is they put satellites up there, they put the Hubble Space Station up there, the telescope, excuse me, and the International Space Station. That is powered by copper solar panels. And Joe Tanner is what's called a spacewalker. He has the record logging the most amount of hours outside of the space shuttle, assembling those copper solar panels. His picture ended up on the cover of Life magazine, and it was voted the #1 photograph ever taken. And his picture is in that. But he inspired me because he's all about dreams, overcoming, still pushing through even when you're told no. He was told no, and he just kept asking, just kept persevering until he was selected. And if you've ever had the privilege of watching a space shuttle take off, it's actually a pretty violent experience. He talks about the G-forces and how hot you are in all of that astronaut gear sitting. You know, first of all, imagine you're on your back, you're facing straight up into the sky, you're there sometimes for hours before launch, you're dripping with sweat, they're attempting to blow cold air up into your suit, and then you get the countdown. T-minus, and you've seen the space shuttle lift off before, but he describes that experience as so turbulent and so violent. Your whole body is shaking like you can hardly even believe. You feel like every bone in you is just going to crack off. And the G-force is lifting up off the ground, and you're just going an unbelievable amount of speed straight up in the air. And when he describes that, I've seen the videos of that, and he's had surround sound, and it feels like you're in the space shuttle with them. It's an incredible experience. But I take that story from him and I liken it to how you build your business. When you're first lifting off, it's the most turbulent time. It feels violent at times. You just feel like nothing's perfect. It doesn't quite feel right. You're just shaking really badly. You're like, do I have to endure this forever or much longer? Is it always going to be like this? And the answer is no, it's not always going to be like that. If you just stay the course enough and you go through the training and you stick with your team and you let your leaders come around you and tell you what to experience and what you're going to go through, you'll get through it and you'll find out that not too far down the path that everything will stop shaking. It won't be so turbulent. It won't feel so violent. You won't feel like you have to endure something unpleasant. And so you see, a lot of times it's the fear that stops us, and you have to understand that it's like breaking the sound barrier like the shuttle. Eventually they break the sound barrier, there's a big boom, and all of a sudden it gets quiet. And he describes that perfect stillness in the air. Not a thing can be heard, there's no movement, it feels like they're just sitting on the ground and they're still soaring through space. And that's kind of like your business. So I just want to encourage you, if you feel like you're in turbulent times, if you feel like your cages are getting rattled right now and it's just really uncomfortable, figure out how you can press forward a little bit harder and a little bit more, but that's what it's going to take. You need to press forward when you feel like things are not smooth. That doesn't mean pull back. Pull back equals death. To push harder means you're going to get through it. And when you break the sound barrier, right on the other side of that is when you circumvent your fear and everything quiets down. Can you see that visual in your head? Okay, perfect. Now, I want to give you another visual here. So go ahead to the next photo. Let me see if I want to talk about that next. All right, this is, okay, right there. Is there a pointer or a clicker there for that laser? Right here. Okay. This is my son right here. This is his face right here. He's just turned 16. These are the best baseball players in the state of Colorado. This is an elite group of kids right here. This gentleman right here, his name is Randy Sullivan. Randy Sullivan operates out of Tampa, Florida, a very specialized baseball training camp intended for kids who are on the path to playing in Major League Baseball. Now, it's not my idea that my son do this. It's his idea. I'm just fueling his passion. That's it. I afford it. I make sure that he's plugged in and engaged where he needs to be engaged. But the lesson here is you become who you hang around. If you want to be a senior vice chairman in this business, you need to hang out with chairman level people. If you want to be a Major League Baseball player, you need to hang out with people that know how to coach people to get there. A good friend of ours, Cole Anderson, he's now dating one of my best friends who's also been associated with the outdoor summit experiences with the NASA astronauts. His name is Scott Cochran. His daughter is dating a young man for the first time that came right out of high school, played at Fossil Ridge in Fort Collins, Colorado. Right out of high school, he just got drafted to the major leagues, to the Colorado Rockies. He's a Rocky. He's 19 years old and he's a Colorado Rocky, and he went through the same training camp by this gentleman right here, is Randy Sullivan. But these guys right here, let me tell you, this guy right here is 17 years old. At 16 years old, because of the principles followed by Randy Sullivan, this gentleman right here, at 16 years old, was throwing 83 miles an hour. That's fast for a 16-year-old kid. He just finished this summer going to training camp, just turned 17 years old, and now he's throwing 89.3 miles an hour. At 90, you get a scholarship. He just broke the 90s. He just got a full ride scholarship to play baseball. This kid right here, he's a phenom as well. He is the #1 batter in the state of Colorado. He's the #1 hitter. He's the #1 slugger. He plays catcher, and he has already had recordings of his balls traveling home run style 400 and some feet into the stands at 17 years old. So these kids are not messing around. This is the real deal right here. My point is that, yes, I know that all of these kids, they're hidden in here and you have to point them out, but guess what? They belong to something much bigger than themselves. They belong to a team of people, and there's systems here, and there's processes here, there's methodologies that work. They've been proven to work. And when you plug in to something bigger than yourself, because this is a team sport like right now, and a lot of people think this is an individual sport. This is a team sport. And when you play on the team and you know your role and you play to your strengths and you let everybody else come around you and provide what you need that you're not gifted or good at naturally, most people want to focus on their weaknesses so they can make up for their defaults. Focus on your strengths. Play in your area of expertise. Not everybody has to be a master plan shower. But I'll tell you what everyone needs to be good at is the invite. Everybody needs to know how to invite. From there, other people can surround you and help you develop your business. And that's what happens and why baseball is such a great metaphor. So know your role. Use great coaching, follow the systems and the trainings that duplicate and work, and that's how you get a scholarship into Major League Baseball. It's brilliant. So, that's the moral of that story. Let's go to the next page. Was that a good lesson, by the way?
Yeah.
Good stuff? Okay, this is my son Blake right here. He is already taller than I am. He's 6 feet tall, but here is him right in the middle of his training camp. And see, you couldn't figure out what these balls are doing on the ground, but there's actually a sequence right here, and there's stuff that doesn't make sense to the naked eye, and you're going, what does that have to do with anything? That's like your experience in this business. We're going to ask you to do things sometimes. You're going to think they're silly. You're not going to be able to make sense of it because you're brand new. Just do it anyways. The systems work. There's a reason why we ask you to do certain things, so just do them. Next slide, Caroline. No, not that one. Boy, horrible. Okay, is that the, okay, I had a couple more, but we'll forget those. That's okay. You can turn those down. We're going to actually pull that one up right there, my family's right there. Yep, that one. Okay, just so you can put names with faces. You met Juliet, so this is my family. I'm proud of all of them. That's why I'm showing them to you. Here's my oldest son, Blake. He's 16. This is our son, Ashton. He's 12, and look at the dip, 16 to 12. He is a giant kid. He's a huge kid. His feet are actually bigger than his older brothers. Here's our little pipsqueak, Sienna. She's 10, and she's in 5th grade. And so Ashton's obviously a football player and a basketball player. Sienna's a gymnast, and she will entertain you with cartwheels and round-offs and back handsprings and tucks and all that kind of stuff. But we fuel our kids' passions. So I'm really excited, and I hope that you guys can take time to find the moments in your life, the special pictures and the photographs, and remind yourself of why you're doing this. What legacy are you leaving? What lineage are you creating? What inheritances are you leaving behind? But I just look at the faces of these people right here, and I go, this is why I do what I do every single day. Find something that motivates you. Pictures like that motivate me. What I want to show you here, wrapping up, is this drawing right here. There's you. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to write this down. Got 4, question mark. Got 4, question mark. Remember the old milk campaigns? Got milk? Got 4. These are the pillars, if you were here last night, that I was talking about. You must have 4 people as fast as possible with you in this journey, duplicating. Duplicating what? CEO pack, switching where you shop to the tune of $150 to $200 of product every single month. That's what you need to be duplicating, along with everyone committing a new list so that we can talk to more people. CEO pack, switch where you shop, list / invite. Got that? Here's your 4 people. Now, one of the biggest reasons we talk about 4, I'm going to draw a dotted line right there, is because this is person number 4. Number 4 is very special. It was talked about earlier, but I'm going to drill down on it just a little bit more. This is special because 1, 2, and 3 do not earn you coding bonus. Person number 4 earns you coding bonus. If you personally are not in the coding bonus, you are leaving so much money on the table. If you knew how much money you were leaving on the table, it would make you sick to your stomach. You've got to get the 4th person registered into your business and help them register that 4th person as fast as possible, because you're leaving too much money on the table. And if you don't teach this to your brand new person, you're not like ethically stealing from them, but you're stealing from them. You're stealing from your people if they don't know how important it is to build their business with this 4th person. Here's what it means to you. Let's just say that you're now a senior executive marketing director. And once you're qualified as a senior executive marketing director, here's this 4th person. You're SEMD qualified. The coding bonus is $100. Watch this. The first 3 people that they introduce to the business, do they get paid on them with the coding bonus?
No.
No is the correct answer. They do not get paid because what does it take? 4. So this person is off limits to themselves, but it's not off limits to you here. So they come in with a CEO pack. You get $100 in the CEO pack. That is your coding bonus. That's above and beyond the fast start and the quick start bonuses. They introduce 3 people. You get $100 here, $100 here, and $100 here. That's $400 in your bank account. Then each of them go get 3 people. Do they get code? Does this person get code?
No.
What do they need?
Four.
The fourth person. So this is inside of a room. Everything on this side of the dotted line never gets coded to this person. It's forever coded to you. So now you've got 3 people here at $100, and you've got 3 people here times 3. That's 9 people. There's another $1,200 on the first and second level to that person that goes into your bank account on code. And oh, P.S. by the way, then each of them go get 3. Does this person get code? No. Does that person get code?
No.
Does that person get code? No, because it's on that side of the dotted line. So there's 27 more people. You're the qualified SEMD. You just got code on all those people. Do you understand why you want to go deep and wide as fast as possible? This is why the coding bonus is so powerful. Does everybody understand the coding bonus?
Yes. Yes.
What do you need to do to get yourself qualified for code?
Fourth person.
Get 4. Do you understand why your motto now is got 4?
Yeah.
Just like the milk campaign? You run around like a program in your head and you just ask yourself the question, do I have 4? If you don't have 4, hurry, hurry, hurry. Go get that 4th person as fast as you possibly can. Yeah, you got to be CEO qualified yourself. That's the point coming from right over here, from Sherry. See? Right there. Nobody's wearing name tags. It's Sherry. All right. Person number 4. Are we clear on the coding bonus?
Yes.
Okay, now, here's maybe the most important thing that I want you to walk out of here today. You've heard a lot of important things, valuable stuff. Everybody that spoke today had valuable information, but I'm going to close on 2 things. And it has to do with the invite and it has to do with promotions. So just make a whole new topic, right? Just put invite and promotions. You want to master, like make this your MO in everything you do. Invite, promote. Invite, promote. And I can tell you got to leave in just a second, right? But you don't want to miss the invite and promote, do you? Okay, do you have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Invite, promote. What are you doing? Inviting and promoting. We already talked to you about the principles of the invite, so you're doing that with everybody you come across that you can, that's on your list, and then you're promoting something to them. You must promote something to them. Here's what I promote to them. Every single week, locally in my town, we do a meeting. And that meeting is an absolute must. It's a must. You made bridge and bingo and Bible study and taxi driver services to all your kids in the family with their sporting activities. You made all of those things a priority, none of which would give you the ability to create financial freedom in your life. Not one of those decisions ever gave you the opportunity to have financial freedom. And remember, it's a necessity, like the air you breathe, like helping someone physically. Here's the visual I see all the time. When you are armed and powered with the incredible knowledge of how brilliant our products are, if someone is dying on the floor, heart attack, they stop breathing, their windpipe is clogged, Heimlich maneuver needs to be performed, CPR needs to be performed. First of all, if it happened, I'd say, is anybody in here CPR qualified, first aid certified, any EMTs in the room, any doctors in the house? Fortunately, we have a doc in the house in the back corner here, Dr. Anderson. So I would just point to him and I'd say, help, right here. Someone's having trouble over here, and he'd run up here and he'd do something about it. And we'd all be with bated breath, watching, how's he doing? People in the back would be like, is he okay? Are they okay? Are they okay? Yep, everything's under control. Oh my goodness, we'd all be so concerned. Maybe we'd be calling 911 at the same time. But what happens when you absolutely know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that someone's on the floor right here, dying not of heart disease, or respiratory disease, or cancer, which are all very scary diseases. There's actually a disease that's more common than what you find in the medical journal as like the #1 causes of death, like cancer, heart disease, etc., etc. The #1 disease in the world is financial brokenness. It's the #1 disease in the world. But we don't talk about that disease. but it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, someone you know is on the floor right now, and they need financial first aid. But you haven't been trained on how to initiate that. So we just sit there, we're like, oh, that poor dying soul. Sure would hate to be them. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. And we don't know what to do. And we fumble around, and we're not good at this, so we either make a hopeless attempt at saving their life, or we pass them by. I was in a restaurant one time, and there was somebody that started choking, and they were dying. I could see their face turning all kinds of colors, and I didn't know what to do, but I thought I did. Thinking you know what to do and knowing what to do are two totally different things. And I thought I knew what to do. So I looked around, nobody was stepping up to the plate, nobody was helping, nobody was coming to the rescue, and everyone's looking at this person, and they're choking. You know the universal choke sign, like, help, I'm dying? They're doing this, they're looking around, the pleading in their eyes was all there, and I decided I had to do something because nobody else was doing anything. So I stepped up there, and I told this woman, I said, I'm going to perform the Heimlich maneuver. Are you ready? And she's doing this, and now she's all different weird shades. And I said, okay, now you're gonna roll over. Everyone you know that's not alive anymore is gonna roll over in their graves right now because I'm going to demonstrate what I did, and you're gonna go, you did what? You're about to be flabbergasted. Trust me. So the Heimlich maneuver, are we all clear? That's from the back side, and you get up under the sternum, right? And you pull really hard. If you're in trouble by yourself, you grab a chair or a pointy object and perform it on yourself, right?
Right.
Okay, that's not what I did. So I just wanted you to know I now know the Heimlich maneuver, but I thought I knew the Heimlich maneuver, and here's what I did instead. I turned her around, she's facing that way, and I'm thinking, okay, I can do this. I can totally do this. And I was nervous, but I was confident. And I put my left hand on her shoulder. You got to visualize this. She's looking this way. My left hand goes on her shoulder. I spread my feet apart like this. I get in the crouching position. I open the palm of my hand, and I figure if I pull her toward me, I'm going to get a lot of leverage. And being a baseball player, I know about torque, like this movement right here, like I'm swinging the bat. So the person cackling is Hartman. So, is this good, Hartman, or what? Yeah. So I'm like ready, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like doing this. 1, 2, 3. Bam! And I thrust the palm of my hand with everything I had right between her shoulder blades, just like that. And she went lurching forward like this, and she's staggering along, and I'm waiting for her to turn around, and she does, and she's still choking. Only now I've knocked the crap out of her, to use Nephi's language. So she turns around, and it's like, I'm looking at her for the sign, like, show me you can breathe. And she's not breathing at all. And I'm going, man, time's going by. The obvious solution, all these people in the old Chicago's pizzeria, there's got to be 90 or 100 people there. And they're all looking at this like this is entertainment. So I'm like, okay, nobody has corrected me. I must be on the right path.
Oh, no.
I clearly have made the mistake, not of doing the wrong thing, I just simply didn't hit her hard enough. So I say, okay, second swing is a charm. I put my hand on her shoulder, and obviously she didn't know the Heimlich maneuver either, because she hasn't corrected me. So 2 people, you can see the metaphor in your business, 2 people that don't know how to do the right thing, they're both going to die. I grab her on the shoulder, and I'm going, okay, I just need more leverage. I need more torque right here. And so 1, 2, 3, bam! I hit her hard. This time, she comes up a little bit airborne like this, and she's lurching forward, and she barely stays on her feet, and she turns around, and she's still choking. And I'm like, oh, no. Okay, I can do this. I can totally do this. I said, I'm going to have to hit you one more time. I said, I'll get it this time. And I said, are you ready? And she's going, yes. This is a ridiculous story. Oh, if only you could be there, you'd be in trouble. So I thought, okay, this time, third time's a charm, I'm going to get it this time. And I thought, I got one more shot. A minute's gone by. How long can she not breathe? So 1, 2, 3, and I don't know what happened, but I went through her. And she came off the ground, woo-hoo, like this, landed right on her chest, and bam, everything comes right out on the floor. And the moral of the story is, you can almost kill somebody and have a positive outcome. It's possible. It's possible. But the likelihood of having a positive outcome from doing the right thing is not worth the risk. Does that make sense? Yeah, the likelihood is so small, it's not worth risking doing the right thing. It's important that we learn how to perform the right movements with people. The PhD in social skills, where you can kill people in the journey. And I talk to people all the time. I've worked with 10 people now, and none of them have said yes. That's not a fallacy with Youngevity. It's not a fallacy with our products, our compensation plan, our messaging. The fallacy is with you. Just like the fallacy was with me. I screwed up that Heimlich maneuver. I was so proud, though. This woman is still alive today. I called my mom on the phone on the way home. I was like, Mom, because she's an oncology nurse. I said, Mom, you're not going to believe this. I saved somebody's life today. And she got all excited for me. She's like, you did what? I said, yeah, someone was dying in this restaurant today. They had been choking for a minute. Mom, I saved their life. How'd you do that, son? I said, I performed the Heimlich maneuver. She said, tell me about it. And I go, oh, it's amazing how this happened. And I'm telling her the story, and there's just like dead silence on the other end of the phone. She didn't say a word. I'm thinking, I'm at least going to get some recognition from her. Son, that's great. You did a great job. I called her at work while she's at the hospital, and I said, Mom, are you still there? She goes, I'm here. And I said, you're way too serious. This is good news. She said, you could have killed that person. Are you sure they're still alive? I said, I'm sure. What's wrong with this picture? And she said, that's not the Heimlich maneuver. I don't know what you call that, but that's not the Heimlich maneuver. And she's like, all her friends are around. Hey, Jessica, you got to get a load of this. You're not going to believe what my son did. And so she's like telling this story in disbelief. But that's not the reputation that you want to build for yourself when you're handling people incorrectly, where the stories go floating around about how you're massacring people in the process of building your business. Can you see this picture? Okay, how many people do you need?
4.
4. Invites, very important. Mr. Graham shared one with you earlier. Here's another one for you. Ready?
Yes.
Here's the invite. This is for people that you know. Now remember, you can say the invite in your own words. If you're recording right now, if you've got smartphones, you can push play right now. You can write it down later. So think smart. Don't work hard. Think smart. Push play on your recorder. This is a great invite for people that you know. So if I know you really well, like I could go to Dave and I could say, hey Dave, I've just got a couple of minutes. Is now a good time to talk with you? So notice that I just created a sense of urgency. Did you catch that? The sense of urgency is I'm busy. I've only got 2 minutes. Is now a good time to talk? Now why do I set the stage right up front that I've only got 2 minutes?
You just said something. I didn't hear what.
Tell Siri she can talk later. So that's how I set the stage. Hey Dave, I've got a couple minutes. Is this a good time for you? Now Dave has been put on notice. This is not a time to chit-chat. We're going to get to the point. He can ask me questions later. I don't have time to answer your questions. And so I say, hey Dave, we've known each other a long time. Or we've known each other for long enough. And Dave, you know that I've been busy, happy, satisfied, successful in what it is that I do, and I really enjoy it a lot. Now stop there, let's break this down again. I enjoy what I do. Why do I tell people that I enjoy what I do? Because I don't want them to think that the sky has fallen, I'm down on my luck, I'm in all this hardship, I have nothing better to do, so whatever comes out of my mouth next would only be an act of desperation. Can you picture this in your head? So I've just let him know that I'm happy. That's a really important thing to get across. Dave, everything's going fine. I'm super happy. I've been successful in my career as an XYZ. However, as successful as I've been and as happy as I am, nothing compares to the newest chapter that's unfolding in my life as we speak. Got it? Nothing compares to the newest chapter unfolding in my life as we're speaking. What message does that put out? Something extraordinary is transpiring. That's the message that goes out there. Have I created curiosity?
Yes.
Have I created value?
Yes.
Have I created a sense of urgency? Here comes the fear of loss. Dave, I don't know what you've got going on in the next couple of days, but I'm connected to some people that have changed my life significantly when it comes to a health and a financial standpoint. So what I just do now, several things. I just told him what the topics are. I just took away the likelihood of him saying, what is the topic? What are we going to talk about? Can you tell me more? Everything you need to know, Dave, I've just told you. But in the next couple of days, I want to know your schedule because I want to connect you with these individuals that have changed my life for the better. When in the next 48 hours can I get an hour of your time in a completely open mind? Now think about how that's broken down. When in the next 48 hours? There's your sense of urgency. There's the small window. Some people make the invite and they go, hey, when's a good time for us to get together? That's an open-ended question. Here's what they're going to tell you right now. They're going to say, well, it's a busy time of year, Scott. We just finished up Thanksgiving, just had a bunch of guests in our house. We're preparing for more to come for Christmas. I'm going to be doing a lot of shopping. I've got church functions. I've got Christmas parties with work. I've got all these things going on. Finals are coming up with the kids at school to end the quarter. I'm going to be working with them to help them study and prepare. They'll come up with ways, if the value isn't there, for why they'll say, hey, a good time would be after the new year. But the reason why they would do that only is because you didn't create the value. If you create the value, they'll do anything right now. It doesn't matter what holiday it is. It doesn't matter about anything. They'll clear everything off the table to get in front of you and these special people you're talking about if you edify them properly and create the value. Did you recognize that in that invite? Did you see it? Okay. I just gave you an example of how I would talk to someone. You can use your own words. If you're going, hey, that doesn't sound like me, make it sound like you. Use the principles, use the philosophies, use that verbiage as much as you can because it works. I've been doing these invites for decades. That's a long time. As those kids are practicing to become Major League Baseball players, I practice to become a Major League network marketer. This is what I do. I don't play Little League network marketing anymore. I play Major League network marketing. My goal is to take this, us, we, to the Super Bowl championship, the championship of all championships, the big grand stadium stage. We're going to get there together. I'm not going by myself. You're not going by yourself. We will get there if we play smart and we practice and we show up on time. We treat each other with respect. We don't bow out. We don't bow down. We are constantly moving together, locking arms, heading in the straight direction, and we do it with respect the whole time. Your part matters. This is a team. Now you know, you've always known. I'm just reminding you of what you've already known in the past, but this is important stuff. When I look at this room right now, here's what I'm pretty convicted of. You're smart people. You're good people. You're great people. You came here today because you wanted to learn, you wanted to absorb, you wanted to pick up some juicy nuggets that maybe you just haven't been able to soak in enough, that it would make a difference in your business. I hope today has been a difference maker, but I want to make one final point. When it comes to promotions, here's what I would have done, which means we're not going to be able to go backwards, but we made a mistake. And it would be remiss of me if I stood here knowing that we as a team have made a mistake and I didn't tell you what it was. Do you want to know how, not you, I'm not pointing the finger at any one person. Do you want to know, because we're a team, do you want to know the mistake that we made today?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, because you paid money to be here, right? You cleared your whole calendar to be here, but a mistake has been made. And it's not to beat anybody up, it's to get smarter. A great statement says, don't wish for things to get easier, wish for you to get better.
Yeah.
Don't wish for things to get easier. Listen, it's not going to get easier. Wishing for something to get easier is saying, I desire to be lazy, I desire to step back, I don't want to go through the fight, which means your dream will never, ever, ever manifest itself. It just isn't going to happen. You have to be willing to sharpen your iron and to face these facts and change your reality. So here's, with a smile on my face, is the mistake we've made today. We're just going to get better from it, and we're going to get smarter. The mistake is that none of us did our very best to promote for this event. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
We just simply didn't do our best to promote for this event. Knowing what you know now, how many of you think, if you could take everything you've learned from today, harness it, and put it to use, how many of you wish that you could turn back the clock and in this exact moment, right now, poof, it existed, we all did our job, and you had your 1, 2, 3, 4 people sitting in this room right now? I'm raising both hands. I am raising both of my hands. Because if we had all done this, 1, 2, 3, 4, not only would you be here, but right now you're I know what you're thinking. You're like, I wish I had my whole team here. I wish I had certain people here. I wish I had my leaders here, because now you have to go do your very best to give secondhand information. But what if your people had firsthand information? They wouldn't be wondering what the strategy was for 4. They wouldn't be wondering how they can take their belief level now, locked and loaded, and go turn their emotions harnessed into a powerful invite. See, if I go sit and talk with Priscilla and I say, Priscilla, we go back the last couple of years. I know we trust each other. We know lots of things about each other and our families. But Priscilla, as happy and successful as you've known me to be, and by the way, success is not defined by your clothing or the rings you wear or the cars you drive or the size of your bank account. Success is dependent on your attitude about life and the happiness and the joy and the peace that you have in your circumstances. Is that agreeable? So that's a simple definition of success. So when I say success, don't be thinking to yourself, well, I don't have the success that he's talking about. There's no measuring stick here. It's just in your attitude and how you come across. So Priscilla, I know you trust me, yes? As happy as I've been with my life, nothing compares to the latest chapter unfolding in my life as we're speaking right now. Listen, I've only got a couple of minutes right now, but Priscilla, you've been on my mind. And I cannot stop thinking about you because you're a friend. I've got information that could radically transform your life financially and physically. Being your friend, Priscilla, I have a question for you. Do you mind? Do you want me to keep that information to myself, or do you want me to share it with you?
I would absolutely love you to share it.
Do you see how I worded that question? I created curiosity, value, energy, a positive thought. And she's not one to pick me apart right now. I created the value of saying, I trust you, I like you, you're my friend, I care about you, I cannot stop thinking about you. I've got information that can change your life. Do you want me to share that with you, or just keep it to myself? The chances of her telling me to keep it to myself are about 0. That's what I believe. I believe they're about 0. Do you see how easy the invite is from this moment right now? At this particular juncture in our dialogue, it's simple. You're going to get an invite every time you do that. You'll get an invite almost every single time that you dialogue with people like that, because she senses that I'm not nervous, afraid, or scared. If you've ever walked down a dark alley and you know it's late at night and here comes a rabid dog, if there's 4 friends walking together, the person that does this is going to get attacked. But the person that steps into the situation, they're going to be totally fine. So you step into the situation with the person you're talking to, and don't cower or back away. Listen, I've got information that can radically transform your life physically and financially. I could keep it to myself, but Priscilla, I love you, I care about you, you're a wonderful friend of mine. I'd prefer to share it with you if you're open. Yes, she says, great. I want an hour of your time with a completely open mind in the next 48 hours. Does that work for you?
I will make time.
When I introduce you to the people that have had that inspiration in my life, you'll know why I'm so excited and confident about tomorrow. Is that beautiful or what? How many of you like the way that sounds and just flows? Okay, now you just take that energy from the invite and you roll that into the promotion building for your events. And guys, you have to get consistent. You must have a weekly meeting. If you don't have a weekly meeting, then nothing's intentional and nothing is consistent. If you're going, nobody does one in my town, then find somebody that's capable of stepping up and showing that plan, and you start. Talk with your upline leaders, make sure you're on the same page, make sure you're communicating a consistent message about what the plan looks like, and then go nuts and start running hog wild. That's what it takes to do what we do. Now, I think this is the last thing I'm going to share. You all okay?
Yes.
April is our convention, and it's going to take place in Anaheim. Your objective is to do everything that you possibly can between now and then. Do not pass go. Do not go to sleep on this thought. You start strategically planning your leaders now, here, locally. You put them into place. Let them get engaged with you, and then repeat this cycle as fast as you can, as many times over and over and over. I do this in a week. 1 week, if at all possible. If they will rise to the occasion, it's 1 week to EMD. CEO pack, brand new person, they go get 4 CEO packs. You need 1,000 volume. In your first 3 levels, 200 QB here, met by the CEO pack. All these people need to have 100 QB, it's met by the CEO pack, and you have 2,500 in QB instead of 1,000. You're set. There's EMD in the first week. Now, what if these people took 3 weeks to do what you did in a week? Well, if each of these goes and gets 4, you have blown past SEMD. You're in the coding bonus in that scenario, and you have busted a brand new significant pin and recognition rank level in the business. This is how you make money. This is how your people make money. This is how you get everybody's money back. This is how big bonus checks are cut very quickly in the business, and you just duplicate that over and over and over and over again, and that's the expectation. That's the bar. You all ready to play?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you really ready to play?
Yes.
Are you ready to go out there and do something a little bit different and spice things up a little bit and play a little bit more aggressively? Can you do that?
Yes.
Do you want to do it?
Yes.
Do you want your dreams to come true, or do you just want to think about them for the rest of your life? Let's stop daydreaming, let's take action, and let's go out there. Here's what I'd like to do. Everybody in this room right now, let's just create one big circle around the room right now. Everybody grab a strap, stand up, come as close as it takes. Let's just spread out around the perimeter of these tables right here. All right, let's spread out. Let's come together, guys. Right up here. Okay, how many of you have heard of a pinky promise?